So you want to become an Airbnb investor, but something keeps stopping you. You're hearing that the opportunity is over. It takes too much time, that guests will trash your place, or that you don't have enough money. And it's keeping you stuck instead of encouraging you to make the leap. Here's the truth. Colin was just at a real estate investors conference talking with hundreds of people, and he heard the same 7 Airbnb myths over and over. Myths that sound smart, but quietly kill your investing success. In this episode, you'll get clarity. You'll see why these beliefs are wrong, what actually works right now, and how investors are still building serious cash flow with Airbnb properties. Today, we're breaking down the 7 biggest Airbnb investing myths and exactly why believing them is costing you money based on our experiences from 9 years of investing, managing our own 14 Airbnbs, and coaching hundreds of other clients.
Buckle up. This is going to be a banger. I was just at a real estate investing conference in Baltimore and kept getting the same 7 questions about Airbnb investing over and over again. Things that smart people thought were true, but really are total myths. These are probably the things that you believe that are keeping you from jumping in and truly succeeding as an Airbnb investor. The first myth I kept hearing is the opportunity is over. I missed the window. This is completely untrue. Airbnb investing is still the number one way to get the highest cash-on-cash returns of any real estate investment. If you understand the basics of how to find a good market, select the right property, and use the right software for pricing and messaging, you can and will make money. Well, yes, we are past the initial set it and forget it mode that the early Airbnb hosts enjoyed and the huge frenzy of post-COVID guests. We coach people every single day that are grossing more than $100,000 a year from a single Airbnb investment. While many people are investing in Airbnbs, 90% of them are doing it wrong. Price Labs shows that only about 15% of hosts are even using any dynamic pricing. When that statistic hits like 85%, then the opportunity may start to wane, but not until then. Airbnb favors professional hosts, those who treat their investment like running a business. And that's not that hard to do. It's just really a matter of mindset and education.
Oh, 100%. The second myth that's circulating is managing an Airbnb takes too much time and I'm going to need a property manager. This is wrong. When set up correctly, managing an Airbnb takes less than 20 minutes a day. Colin calls it a bathroom business because you can handle it in the time that you go potty, which is incredibly gross, but actually...
I just mean you're managing it from your phone. You've got the app on your phone. You're doing most of your work, quick answers on your phone.
This is true. And I'm sure you're wondering, how is this possible? It's all about having the right technology in place, and that's the foundation for minimizing your hands-on time as a host. Number 1, Hospitable is a software that plugs into your Airbnb listing and allows you to automate all of your standard messages. Things like if someone has an inquiry, it immediately responds. If someone books, it immediately responds. Before they check in, it sends the check-in code, the address, things to do along the way. All of the monotonous things that you normally would have to send out and like have in your calendar, like, oh my gosh, I have guests checking in. I better make sure that they have the code and the Wi-Fi password. That's all taken care of. So
it's your FAQ.
Yes, it's basically your FAQ, but in a software version, so you don't have to deal with it. This saves so much time and monotony of answering the same things a million times as a host. And that may not seem like a big deal if you have one property. It is. It's eating into your time more than you know. But when you start to scale and you hit double digits like we have, that's a lot of questions every single day. That's a lot of check-ins every single day. And just getting that off your plate allows you to do the things that you enjoy.
And emotional energy as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. Number 2, HostBuddy is a life-changing AI software. And if you've listened to this before, you know that I am not a robot person. I really like the hands-on approach. But after HostBuddy scanned our last 6 months of messages, it has completely taken over answering all of our guests' one-off questions with my exact tone of voice. Questions like, do you provide firewood? Or how do I operate the hot tub? And, those seem inconsequential, but when you have someone replying, someone being AI, replying quickly, guests are like, wow, these people are on it and they really care about me as guests. And there are also non-monotonous questions that can be answered. For example, Colin was just talking with a host who said, HostBuddy gave his guests the door code to his Airbnb when they were locked out at 3 o'clock in the morning. That could have been a terrible situation for the guests, and also as a host, you can lose your hosting status if guests can't access your property. And that was completely averted by having HostBuddy AI. Finally, price slabs. Colin mentioned it briefly before. You need to have dynamic pricing. And what Price Labs does is it automates your pricing. What does that mean? It's like flight prices that change with the level of demand. How many of you have looked for a flight, it was a great price, and then come back like 6 weeks later and you're like, oh my gosh, it's double. What happened? Well, lots of people want to be going to wherever you're going, and the price changed. So Price Labs integrates with Airbnb's API and constantly monitors the demand in your particular market. That way, you get the highest possible price for dates. And conversely, Price Labs will actually lower your rates on less popular dates to make sure that they book and don't sit open. I'm sure some of you are still skeptical even after hearing about these 3 amazing technologies, but I can tell you that we managed our 7 Airbnbs in the United States while we lived in Greece without a property manager, and that was with a 6-hour time difference. We also didn't have HostBuddy back in 2019. So what I'm trying to say is the bottom line, set up your tech stack and then build a team with an awesome housekeeper and a local handyman or person. And those are the keys to being successful as an Airbnb investor.
All right. Myth number 3 that people are always spreading is it's impossible to find a good housekeeper. Having stellar housekeeper on your team is paramount to the success of your Airbnb business. You can have the most amazing property with killer views and incredible amenities, but if it isn't clean, you'll get terrible reviews that'll tank your investment. We did a deep dive on this topic in episode 86, so scroll back if you want more of the scoop. Somehow, everyone believes that it's impossible to find that good housekeeper, and it's not. We currently have 12 housekeepers, and every single one of them is a rock star. How did we find them? Physical signs saying Airbnb housekeeper wanted in the yards and the neighborhoods around our properties. And then more recently, we found wonderful people through a simple ad on Indeed. Indeed.com is the world's #1 job posting website and platform, and allows you to post your Airbnb cleaning job and source a wide range of interested candidates. The platform works in 60 countries, so international listeners, hopefully this works for you too.
And I have to say, I was really skeptical when we first tried it, but the results have been absolutely amazing.
I was skeptical too. You think about Indeed as like getting a professional job, not a gig economy kind of job, but it works.
Yeah, my best friend got her job in clean energy as an executive on Indeed.
Right.
And we also find amazing housekeepers on Indeed. It's an incredibly diverse platform.
You hear that, Indeed? What we learned from posting our first job is that you need to word it carefully, or you'll have like 300 people and that you've got to sift through all these resumes, which obviously is not ideal. So putting some pre-qualifying job requirements like experience cleaning Airbnbs or other homes, availability to work any day of the week between 11 and 3, and handle 12 turnovers per month, have reliable transportation for winter and mountain conditions. These will all help you receive applications from your ideal housekeeper candidates. Then you shortlist favorite 5 or 6 applicants, schedule phone interviews, meet your top 2 or 3 at the property, and hire the person that you click with based on their communication style, personality, proximity to the property, availability, and skill set.
The last housekeeper we hired via Indeed, her name is Martha Stewart. I can't even make this up. She lives 2 miles away from this little chalet. She's retired and absolutely delighted to be cleaning for vacation money. I love working with her. She's a great communicator and she has an amazing can-do attitude. Did you just listen to us debunk that myth, but are still actually worrying about the whole finding a housekeeper thing? We created a step-by-step Indeed housekeeper ad setup guide to help you navigate Indeed and properly word and set up your ad so you find a rockstar housekeeper on your very first try. Click the link below to get access to our guide.
All right, the 4th myth is a biggie. You don't have enough money to buy an Airbnb. The cash for your investment may be hiding in plain sight. Maybe you have equity locked up in your primary home that you can access through a home equity line of credit. You may also be assuming that you need 20% for a down payment, but a second home loan only requires 10% down, and the bank's probably just waiting for you to walk in and tell them that you're looking to borrow for a second home. You may also have a stock account that you can secure a line of credit against without selling any of the stocks or bonds. That's actually how we got started and continue to use that line of credit to finance our down payments on new investments. Even if you don't have a stock account, you may have a retirement account, say a 401k or an IRA. There's a mechanism that allows you to use these funds within the retirement account to make a property purchase. This is called a self-directed IRA.
Super cool.
I spoke with an expert at the conference who told me about 20% of their IRA clients have short-term rentals inside their self-directed IRA. I was really surprised to see that number so high.
It makes so much sense. It's such a high return on investment.
Finally, don't overlook the power of partnerships. I bet you've got a friend, colleague, family member that would be interested in owning a vacation rental property with you. It happens way more than you would think. Just last week, we recorded an episode with two families who went in together on a Chesapeake Bay house. And I'm currently working with a client who's partnering with his dad to buy a large property. He's got the operational expertise, the time and enthusiasm, and his father's interested in the tax benefits. Partnerships like these often get hung up on the details of how to structure the deal and what's fair for both sides over time. So reach out to me. My email is ctate@hostcoach.co, and I'll share the framework that I developed to guide you through that partnership discussion.
Because everyone wants partners, and people partner with people they love or at least really like, and you don't want to mess up those personal relationships. All right. Myth number 5 is people will party and trash my Airbnb, and I don't want my investment damaged. It is 100% natural to feel this fear. I feel this fear every time we launch a property, even though I know better. But this, again, is an instance of false evidence appearing real. It spells fear in case you didn't realize. Airbnb is a two-way reviewing platform. So guests review your space and your hosting, and you review your guests. This typically keeps everybody on both sides on their best behavior. An additional way to safeguard your Airbnb is to install Minute. It's a small device that monitors the number of people, noise level, smoking, temperature, and humidity in your Airbnb. And best of all, it messages guests for you if house rules are being broken, allowing you to stop parties before they even start.
Right? I've got a client with a Airbnb in a college town, and they mention the monitoring device in their listing and guest messagings to make sure that anyone who's thinking about renting their house for a party knows this is not the place for them.
Yeah, it's a preventative technology, and I absolutely love it. And should guests actually damage something in your Airbnb, AirCover is Airbnb's insurance for hosts. It's free, and as long as you have documentation of the damage, they typically reimburse you for repairing or replacing the item that the guest damaged. In our 5,000 plus guest stays, we've had to use AirCover like a handful of times, and they haven't been major things. Like, for example, one time a puppy chewed through the side of a coffee table, and AirCover reimbursed us for replacing it. All I had to do was send them the picture of the chewed coffee table and then the link to Wayfair where I was buying the replacement coffee table.
They're good about it.
That was it. And that's one of 4 or 5 instances in out of, like I said, 5,000 guest stays. So that's basically 0.1% of our guests causing damage that required AirCover. That should hopefully make you feel much better about investing in Airbnb.
Myth 6 sounds so believably true, but it isn't true. It's I have to find the exact perfect market to be successful. Well, finding a good market is helpful. It's not what makes your Airbnb successful. And looking at the market's average occupancy is not a good indicator of how perfect that market is. We talk to endless people searching for the pot of gold at that perfect market. And that's impeding their ability to pull the trigger and buy a property so they can start earning cash flow. What you need to focus on is finding a special property, not a cookie cutter house, something with a view, water access, hiking access, interesting architecture, something marketable. People want to rent what they don't have in their own home. Proximity to amenities in is of itself an amenity.
100%.
So Airbnb is prioritizing guest favorite properties and adjusting their search result maps to surface more of these top properties. Pick a market like Helen, Georgia, and Airbnb will show you 18 guest favorite properties on that search result on the first page. But when you click to page 2, the map area changes and expands significantly to show you more guest favorites. So those brand name markets is becoming less important these days. So focus on investability, deals that will pencil better at a lower cost per square foot. We have a coaching client in Australia who just listed a 1920s stone cottage next to the Marlborough Wine Bike Trail. It's going to do so well because it's different and has access to something seriously desirable.
And shout out to Ruth if you're listening. I love your Airbnb. It's just perfection.
And you can use AirDNA or Rabu to find these markets that are 1 to 3 hours from the major city and start looking at unique properties there. Don't worry about the average occupancy because you don't plan to be an average host. Consider that perfect market myth busted.
Myth 7 floating around out there in the ethos is that Airbnb investing will cost me a ton in taxes. Unlike fix and flips, which can cost you a ton in taxes, Airbnb investing is the most tax-advantaged investment you can make, period, the end. Explain why, Colin. That's you. That's all you.
Because we have the short-term rental loophole and bonus depreciation. The short-term rental loophole really isn't so much of a loophole, but rather it's the IRS code recognizing operating short-term rental is a business, not just a passive investment. This allows you to apply losses and depreciation against your W-2 income. You ask, what is this depreciation and where does it come from?
Don't ask me.
Depreciation is the invisible expense of owning a property. The IRS realizes that things wear out and allows you to deduct from your earnings 1/39th of the value of the structure. That's a short-term rental depreciation. So a house excluding the land that's valued at, say, $300,000, the depreciation is about $7,700. However, not all parts of the house wear out at the same rate. For example, carpets and cabinets and appliances can be categorized into shorter timelines like 5 and 15 years.
So how do you figure all of that out?
The best way to accomplish this is through a cost segregation study. I just did one for our most recent investment, and the study came back with $80,000 in available depreciation. This was like a $250,000 house. So with recent tax code changes, that depreciation can be taken all at once to cover the profits that were made on the property, i.e. now tax-free profit from the rentals, and the remainder can be applied to other income like your W-2 job. That is bonus depreciation, and wow, it is powerful.
Yes, and it actually makes me feel a lot better when I put in some higher priced amenities because I know that we're getting that money back, sort of, kind of. So when you're putting in a sauna, we poured like a concrete curved patio fire pit with twinkle lights on the side of a brand new house. And it was not inexpensive, but that all came back.
Right. It's fully expensible.
Yeah. So that's just unbelievable to me. Basically, you cannot afford to not have a cost segregation study done for your short-term rental property. We all need those tax benefits, and it's like free money. Who doesn't like free money? So now you know the 7 most common myths about Airbnb investing and why they aren't true. Don't let them stand in the way of your financial freedom. If you still feel like you need some help fast-tracking the success of your Airbnb investment, that's what we do. Head to hostcoach.co to book a free coaching session with either of us, or go to airbnbrevenuemanagement.com to learn how we can help you stress less and make way more money by managing your Airbnb's occupancy and pricing. Remember, our joy is in your success.